When my younger brother, 20 now, was a young grammar schooler, he went through a huge Harry Potter phase. He loved the wizarding world and believed he might meet Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, or the other characters on a family trip to Scotland since Hogwarts was there. No one promised him this, but he convinced himself it could happen. Sadly, the trip was cancelled after our grandpa passed away, and my brother was devastated for both reasons. To cheer him up, I decided to craft a souvenir. I was 16 and had just discovered Photoshop, so I edited a picture of my brother with Daniel Radcliffe to make it look like they'd met. I printed it, framed it, and gave it to him without telling him it was fake. He loved it and fully believed he'd met Daniel. Soon he had an entire story about the meeting, what they talked about, how Daniel hugged him, etc. It was so sweet, and none of us, my family and I, had the heart to tell him the truth. Yesterday, however, we were at our parents' home and we were bringing up old memories, you know how it goes. The story of meeting Daniel Radcliffe came up, and thinking it was harmless, I told him the truth. I thought he'd laugh, but instead he got visibly upset. He didn't want to believe me at first, thinking I was messing with him. I told him the real story of how and why I did it. He told me that it felt like I robbed him of a real childhood memory that he really cherished. He feels embarrassed thinking about all the times he's told people about meeting Daniel Radcliffe in person, even recently. We ended our conversation on a semi-good note, though. I apologise for not telling him sooner because I feel bad that it meant so much to him even now. But I don't regret it. Back then, it made him so happy during a rough time, and I don't regret giving him that joy. I just didn't realise how much it still meant to him. So I'm just wondering, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's like Santa. You did it with good intentions and he never met him. He was a young grammar schooler and now he's 20. Maybe disappointing, but he's 20 years old. It would be worse for an adult to continue the fantasy. I'm sure no one ever thought at the time this would be the result 14 years later. It sounds like he just never got the memo. It wasn't real. Much worse things can happen as an adult. Nailed it. While it's a bummer he feels embarrassed, you had nothing but the sweetest intentions and definitely thought this would be a few-year-long phase, not something he held on to for life. Don't sweat it. Soon he'll have better small talk to make with people he told about meeting Daniel when he can laugh about this. You are the idiot. This is a horrible and weird thing to do to someone you care about. There are better ways to cheer up a kid than lying to them. This is seriously insane that you allowed this to go on for so long. If my family had told me I'd met someone or had visited a specific country as a kid and had a photo that looked real, I would absolutely believe it. I don't have much of a memory at that age, and anyone who says they actually do probably have false memories like your sibling. I'm with you. Who the heck does this? I don't get why people are comparing this to Santa. This is not like Santa or the Easter Bunny or unicorns or anything like that. This feels so extreme that everyone kept up this lie for so long. You're almost 10 years older than him. Why didn't you or anyone else tell him sooner? Your grandfather died. He was a child grieving. This false memory would have been so easy for a young kid to cling to in the midst of all that. It seems so cruel to do this for years. Really, the parents should have intervened once they realised the young grammar schooler believed he met Daniel Radcliffe. Everyone's the idiot here except your brother. My ex and I have 4 boys. We're opposites. I'm very reserved, but she broadcasts her business on social media. I've gotten into fights with her over putting me on her social media accounts even after we divorced. As our kids got older, they asked her not to put them all over too. They didn't want their personal business out there. When my young teen Jackson was about a tween, he told me he was having issues going to the bathroom. He was adamant that I didn't tell his mom. I took him to the doctor, and long story short, it was recommended he get surgery. My son was horrified, not because of the surgery as much as his mom finding out and telling people. I told him that as of now, no one knows about this but you, me, and your doctor. We can keep it this way as long as you don't tell anyone. You can have the procedure done on Thursday, and I'll tell your mom that you're sick. By the time you return to her house, you should be healed. So that's what we did. It wasn't a big procedure. He was awake the whole time and healed quickly. I was surprised. My other kids were clueless. I almost forgot about it. Jackson is now a young teen. I guess his mom found out when she got a hold of his medical records to send to a new doctor. She asked Jackson about it and he said it wasn't her business. She called me and I said I'm not saying anything without talking to Jackson, but I'll say this. Our kids have expressed several times that you embarrass them on social media by oversharing about them and ignoring their requests to stop. So absolutely I would keep something like our son having surgery a secret from you because me and your son believe you'd post about it. The problem is you, not us. She's furious and I said I don't care about you. I'm not married to you. Pretty much our kids can stay where they choose, so you're going to end up by yourself if you don't drop this. Jackson doesn't want you to know about it because you tell everyone, and you're proving him exactly right. Am I the idiot for taking my son to surgery and never telling his mom? Not the idiot. I would almost never agree with withholding this from another parent. However, I'm worried that the child will not have a safe parent to talk to when needed. This is a minor procedure. Obviously, you were able to care for him and ensure he was okay. Her young teen has a better concept of boundaries than her. She did this to herself. And if she can't reflect on how her oversharing makes her son feel, that's on her. And he will continue to withhold info from her. It's sad when the internet is your priority over your children. Be the safe space in these tender years. Props, Dad, for listening to your child. One of you needs to. OP, you did what I call the least wrong thing. If you'd done anything else, the results could be disastrous. You could have sat your ex down and tried again to talk to her, using this as an example. Even if she didn't post anything about it, which I doubt, your son would not trust you any more than he does her. I cannot imagine being scared and in pain and afraid to tell my parents I need help. What about next time when it could be even more serious? Your ex is going to be very lonely in a few years. My husband and I have been married for a little over 5 years. My daughter, 19, and he have an okay relationship, not exactly father and daughter, but almost advice asked and given relationship basically. I've never picked up on anything weird from my husband toward my daughter, and my daughter has never said or insinuated anything at all as well. On Thursday, my husband and I were watching a movie in the living room. We paused the movie as he got up to use the bathroom. I heard him knocking on the door twice, literally 3 knocks each time on the door a couple of seconds apart. It was loud enough for me to hear him knocking from the living room. The next moment I heard screaming. I rushed to the bathroom and saw my daughter covering herself and yelling at my husband to get out. I didn't see everything that happened, but what I saw after I heard yelling was my husband literally falling over his feet and struggling to get the bathroom door closed. I asked my husband what happened, and he said he knocked, nobody answered, so he went in. My daughter was naked in front of the mirror and he tried to get out. After my daughter calmed down, I asked her side of what happened, and she said she was changing, and all of a sudden my husband walked into the bathroom. I asked why she didn't answer him when he knocked, and she said he didn't. I told her I heard him knock, so I was sure that he did. She said she didn't hear it because she had her earpods in listening to music. We got the situation sorted and my husband apologized to her. He explained that he thought the bathroom was empty and walked in. She even gave him a hug and apologized for yelling at him. The problem now is my daughter has family members involved and they're now calling my husband a creep. Got a call from my sister berating me for still having my husband in the house. I asked what she meant and it came out that my daughter spun a whole other story and left out the fact that she was listening to music with her earpods and was telling everyone that she answered him, and he still walked into the bathroom to look at her. We have cameras in our hallway and it proves that my husband did knock, as you can see in the video, but the cameras have no audio. I sat my daughter down and asked her, and she denied saying anything like that or that she'd told anyone anything. I got angry and asked how her aunt knew what happened, and she went silent. She said she talked to her niece about it and she must have told her mother. I asked why she lied about what happened and made my husband look bad when he did nothing wrong. She again denied lying about anything, and I told her what my sister told me. She just started to cry and say sorry. She was just talking and making up scenarios with her niece. The whole day yesterday I got calls and texts from my family members as the story spread. The wrong story is spreading and my husband looks like a creep to everyone. I sat my daughter down again and had her read some of the things being said about my husband. I told her she had to fix this because her lying was what caused this. She refused, saying she didn't spread this and she only told her niece and didn't want to say anything to anyone because they would think bad about her. She said they know my husband and this will just blow over. Everything did blow up when my husband walked into the living room with his bags packed and said he was going to stay with his parents for a while because he didn't want to be in this situation anymore where he was made out to be this kind of person. My daughter broke down and apologized repeatedly and said she would fix it, but my husband still left. I told her if I got divorced because of her lies, she would be moving out of my house. I told her she better fix what she did and tell everyone what really happened because I will not be losing a man who loves and actually cares for me like my husband does over lies. She asked me to help her and I told her no, she isn't a child anymore and her lies for attention did this. This is on her. I already tried and I'm now also being accused of taking my husband's side and not providing a safe space for my daughter. I don't know what to do. My husband asked for space and my daughter is inconsolable at the moment. I'm not in the best state myself. Not the idiot. I would take the daughter and drive to this niece. Sit down with the niece and the mother and make your daughter tell her the real story. After that, I would tell the niece's mother to call every single person they told and tell her she was wrong. If your daughter refuses, kick her out. For every person who said anything about your husband, cut them out of your life unless they apologize to your husband in person. Sadly, the horse is already out of the gate. There will be people who will never look at him the same and always wonder if he's a creep. Even if OP does get her daughter to apologize and admit the truth, people will still think she's doing it under duress or because OP is making her say it never happened the way she said it did. You're correct. He can't safely live with his stepdaughter ever again. Damage is done. I would never move back to a home when someone has spread false misconduct stories about me for no reason and still lives there. I'd never be okay being alone with that person, even if they said it straight, even if they were sorry, even if I fully forgave them. These kind of rumors can and will ruin a person's entire life. There's no guarantee in any way the rumors won't continue, spread further, get twisted, or the person won't lie again, starting it all over. Not only is she old enough to know better, but she's old enough to face serious consequences if she does this to the wrong people. Right now, it's the family that cares about her, but out in the rest of the world, she won't have that barrier. If I'm that guy, I'm not coming back. It's just not worth it. Today, at our weekly team meeting, one of my colleagues announced that she's pregnant and will be on maternity leave in April. Everyone reacted with congratulations and excitement for her, and I did too. We all told her we're very happy for her and her family and wish her all the best. A few minutes later, I was in the elevator with her and 3 of our other team members, 5 of us out of a team of 11 people on our way back to our desks. For the sake of conversation, I asked her if she was having a boy or a girl. Her face fell and she grimly and shortly said, "Boy." I thought it was strange that she reacted like this, but I let it go. Then after I was back at my desk, she came up to me and said that my question was inappropriate, that she was planning on announcing the gender herself, but I forced her to say it like that in an elevator, so now half of our team knows and it killed the magic. I was honestly really confused and apologized profusely. She lectured me on how I shouldn't be asking personal questions and walked away. I honestly couldn't have thought this was in any way a personal question. Is it too personal? I'm a 24-year-old dude and I don't know anything about pregnant women or babies or social customs, I guess. I was just trying to be friendly. Am I the idiot? Dude, that's a perfectly appropriate question and she needs to get over herself. It's not like you ruined a family surprise. She could have answered more gracefully, "We're actually keeping it a secret for everyone, but I'm excited to tell you at the reveal." She made it awkward all by herself. Also, how self-centered does someone have to be to think their co-workers care about their baby's gender? I have a pregnant co-worker right now, and while I like her and I'm happy she's having a healthy baby, I do not actually give a single care about the baby's gender either way. I have asked, but just as friendly chit-chat. Thankfully, she didn't plan a grand gender reveal at work, so it didn't matter. I got grief over not giving care about a worker's baby. I didn't ask questions but congratulated her, and apparently I was one of the few who didn't ask her about how it was going, what the gender was, or any other inane nonsense I didn't want to know. I just said I'm a private person, so I don't like to pry into other people's lives unless they wish to tell me about it. OP, she needs to get over herself. You didn't ruin anything. She chose to share that it was a boy and had the free will not to. My ex-wife and I divorced a couple of years ago after her affair. We didn't keep in touch until last year when her brother unexpectedly passed away. I knew she was really close to her brother, so I called her to give her condolences. I was also close friends with her brother's wife, Zoe. We've been friends since middle school, so I called Zoe to give condolences and Zoe invited me to the funeral. At the funeral, Zoe was pretty much with me the whole time and she was taking it really hard. A few months after the funeral, Zoe texted me to hang out. Zoe had some really dark thoughts and we ended up making these hangouts a weekly thing. A couple of months later, Zoe asked if we could have dinner and we did. We also made these dinners a weekly thing and every Saturday we would go have dinner in a different restaurant. She also kissed me during one of these dinners and since then we've usually kissed after these dinners. I'm however taking it really slowly and carefully because Zoe is just going through a lot of emotions and even though Zoe has wanted to take it a step further multiple times, I told her we just need to go slow and maybe wait a few more months. Last week I was having dinner with Zoe and when I came back home my ex-wife texted me saying she'd seen Zoe and me kiss at the restaurant. She then called me. My ex-wife was really angry that I was dating Zoe and she said it was very disrespectful to her brother. My ex-wife was even crying on the call and told me to stop seeing Zoe. I, however, told my ex-wife my dating life was none of her business and to mind her own business. I then hung up the call. I do think it was a bit crude what I said, but I just didn't want to speak with my ex-wife. Was I the idiot? Not the idiot. She's your ex-wife whose infidelity ended your marriage. You don't owe her any consideration. Live your life and date whoever you want to, but proceed cautiously. Zoe just lost her husband and is probably not making rational decisions. Everyone's the idiot here. It's something to be expected. This was the wife of her brother. Her brother was just taken from this world. Whether she cheated or not, while you guys were broken up, her brother was still there along with Zoe. So again, although this isn't her place, it should have been expected, and you probably could have handled it better. Just because she was a cheater doesn't mean this is what is supposed to distinguish how you move. Also, there are more women. Why mix with your ex-sister-in-law? I think this is weird.